Now that we've got QGIS installed, let's take a quick look at the interface. If you've used it before, that's fine. If you've used other GIS software but not QGIS, let's say you've been using ArcGIS, it should look quite similar. But even if you haven't used GIS software, this whole layout, just the way the software works, should be somewhat familiar. You've got a menu bar up here in which you've got all these different options, commands that you can execute. We have these toolbars here. Now yours are going to probably look different than mine. Almost certainly they're going to look different than mine because I've been using this on this computer for several years. If you right click here, you'll get all these different options for different toolbars that you can show. And these are the ones I happen to have showing. A very important one is this layers panel, which is shown right here. Now what's going to happen is when we add either right here vector data, such as shape files or KML files, or when we add raster data, such as satellite images, those files are going to be appearing right here in the layers panel, and then the actual data itself, the geographic data, will be appearing in this window right here. Now let me highlight one very important point of QGIS and what makes it so powerful, and that is the plugins menu. I've got 2 plugins installed right here. There's other ones that don't come up right here. If you click on Manage and Install Plugins, you'll see that there are how many? 588 different plugins that have been developed so far. These are plugins which add on to the functionality of the base QGIS software, and they're just made by developers who are interested in contributing to free and open source GIS. I have installed 26 of those. And what we're going to be doing in this course is when it becomes necessary, we will be installing our own plugins. So to do that, we'll basically go here, we'll type in something, let's say the semi-classified automatic classification plugin. We're not going to be using this, but that's the one I use almost all the time. We could click on this and we would do install or uninstall or upgrade the plugin or something like that. Now, once you've got things installed, once you've got different plugins installed, you'll be able to upgrade them or change different settings this way. One important thing is I show experimental plugins here. If you don't show that, sometimes you don't have access to all of the plugins, which are sometimes useful. But for when it's necessary, we'll talk about this, how to do it. One other thing, in the next section, we're going to talk about installing Google Earth. But if you install something called the Open Layers plugin, this is probably my favorite feature of QGIS. If you have Open Layers plugin installed, you can come up to this section called Web. That's where it just happens to go in. And then you can look at OpenStreetMap data. You can look at Google Maps, Bing Maps, MapQuest, OSM, Apple Maps. All of these different sources directly in your map right here. And the power of that is you don't have to go from your GIS directly through a KML file, keyhole markup language file, to Google Earth or Google Maps. You can just do it all directly within QGIS. But that's a little bit more advanced topic, and we can deal with that later. But for now, this is the basic QGIS interface.